All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to week number 5. That is right, week number 5 of your 9449 class, which is your business services, business reference class. I don't even remember right now what the actual official course title is. I know the number, and I am trying to change that course title to make it more fitting to the content that I'll be delivering. And so that's why I don't remember exactly what the course title is right now. But, I hope you don't mind honesty there. But I just like to call it the business reference course and services to business students and business communities and that sort of thing, because that's what it is all about. Anyhow, as always, I am your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin, and today what we're going to do is we're going to do a few course updates, and then we are just going to talk about let's talk about a few of the legal resources. And the reason you don't have a worksheet on the legal resources is because I don't know that, from what I can tell, the legal resources that I would want to guide you all to get some practice with, specifically Nexus Uni and Westlaw, I believe that they are limited in some way to law students. I was checking on that this summer. It's still this summer. I was checking on that back in May as I was actually designing this course. And I think that like one of the advantages when I was at Coastal Carolina was that Coastal actually did have access to Westlaw. Like it was Westlaw campus, but it was still really, really good for looking for legal research for companies. And I think that information is restricted here at Mizzou. I am going to double check right now. But it's late and I needed to get the video up. So that's why I just kind of jumped right in. So we are going to jump in and we are actually going to, let's do the course updates first. And then I'm going to tell you about 4. That is right. 4. That's 1. I'm going to tell you about 4, legal research things, even if we can't actually look at them. We can look at 2 of them, and then the other 2, if the access is restricted, I may just maybe find a YouTube video that can be linked or something of that nature. But let's do the course updates first. That's me from last week. I have gotten a haircut since then. I got a haircut today, and I really, really needed one. Let's start with this. Okay, so your final assignment prompt is now due. Not due. Your final assignment prompt is now open. It'll be due on August the 1st. And one thing that I'm just gonna keep driving home is that you have almost a month to complete it. I uploaded it on July 5th, which we were out on July 5th. You'll be seeing this video come into the class on July the 7th. And it'll be due on August the 1st. So you've got almost a month, and I think you do actually have plenty of time to put forth I don't want to say an elementary effort, but you do have enough time to put forth the beginner's effort. And so one thing, and this is seen in the announcement as well. Let me move myself up here. So in the announcement, one thing that I am driving home is that this will actually be, I will be kind of lenient for 2 reasons on the grading of this assignment. The first reason is, of course, because of the time limit. I wish that I'd been able to have the assignment available at the beginning of class. But having said that, if you don't have 2 months to work on it, like you would have had it been available at the beginning of the class, then I'm not going to grade you as if you had 2 months to work on it. So you have about a month to work on it. So I am going to grade as though you had about a month to work on it. And then also I do want you all to know, and I do this for any course that I build, the first time that I teach a course that I build. And I built this course. Chris LeBeau has taught 9449 in the past. I think the last time she did actually was 2015 with those lectures and everything, so about 6 years ago. But the actual I started the course from scratch. I just thought that was the appropriate thing to do because if we'd have went into the archives to try to get the course shell and everything, that would have been a big mess. And then I would have had the update from 6 years ago anyways. So I just contacted Chris and I asked her if I could have the lectures, and she said yes. And I just designed the course myself and then put the lectures in. And I do have some business librarian experience with Coastal Carolina University and a little bit with UMKC as well. So I did design the course based on my experience. I don't have nearly as much experience or business education as Chris LeBeau does, but I have, in a way that can be good and bad. So the good thing, the bad thing, of course, is that Chris has so much expertise that, she can design the course, in a way that would really, really knock the socks off of a lot of business professors who want to see business librarians trained a certain way. But the good side of me not having her expertise is that Chris has an MBA. So, and most librarians who become business librarians do not. They don't have business degrees. And so I don't have a business degree. So I have experience as a business librarian who got into business librarianship the way most business librarians do. Whereas Chris is a unique case of somebody who has a business background, has worked in the business sector, and then she's a rarity. And that's why she got paid like $25,000 more to do the job that I inherited from her, and that's because she had the MBA, she had the credentials, she was one of the best business librarians in the country. But I think that I designed this course in a way that's good for those who don't have an MBA, or I believe it's Ruthie, if I'm not mistaken, that has an MBA, but it's an older MBA. So if you find yourself in that situation, then yes, you may benefit from the way I designed this class, because I designed it for people who don't have MBAs and could potentially go into business librarianship. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, and I hope you can appreciate that. It's just two different approaches to it. But going back, the reason why I did that, the reason why I mentioned that, I'm sorry, train of thought. The reason why I mentioned that is because I am. Excuse me. Okay. So the reason that I mentioned that is because I am not assigning readings the first time I build a course on the last week of the course. Whenever I actually build a course for the first time or totally redesign a course for the first time, I don't actually have assigned readings on the last week. I give the last week for full on working on the final project. Now, you do have optional readings for the last week of class, but again, those are optional, so you can read them if you want. You don't have to, but I want you to have that week set aside to put your finishing touches on your final. So some of the other things that I want to mention about the final, and they are in this announcement as well, that I'm just going to elaborate a little bit, is that yes, because this is a new assignment, I'm not exactly sure how you all are going to do. Please put forth your best effort, of course. But what I've got to do is make some assessments. I have to look at how you perform on this assignment. And then from there, I have to say, okay, this is how they performed on that assignment. They did well, they didn't do well. And then I make adjustments to the assignment. Like if several people are not doing well in a specific area, that's when I know I need to make adjustments so that my future classes can be more successful on the assignment, and then I can also grade them more harshly. But you will not be graded as harshly because I am doing the assessment piece in this case and trying to figure out how well you all are going to do, and then I can adjust the rubric accordingly. I know that 34 points is a lot, but please don't get nervous. I will grade fairly based on the conditions of the class. If you have any questions, yes, go ahead and put your questions. You can email me as well, but you can go ahead and put your questions in the questions chat area. In that way, your classmates may also have the same questions, and I can address them there. And then that saves me some time because I'm just answering the question once instead of having to answer a question by email once and then answering it again and answering it again. All right. So those are the main things. And if we want to look at the assignment really quickly, We can do that. So the assignment is to assist with the business plan. For one thing, I hope it's clear that you don't actually have to create a business plan. You are actually assisting with the business plan. And there are resources out there, including, I think the Small Business Administration that the federal government runs even has like some tips on how to build a business plan. But yes, so there are resources out there on how to build a business plan, but you're not actually building the business plan. What you are doing is you are kind of making a report and providing information so that this person can go ahead and pursue his own business plan. And these are the pieces of information that you're going to want to include in your report. There's no page limit right now. I've got to see exactly how long these pages end up being with you all, how many pages these assignments end up being with you all, excuse me. And then from there, I will probably have page limits and that sort of thing with the future classes. I'm also actually not going to be a stickler with APA citation in this case. That also will probably change in the future, but in this case, I would prefer that you use APA citation, but really the main thing I want is to see that you are in the databases and using them properly. So you will need to cite your information. You still can't plagiarize. But if your APA, as you will see in the rubric, there are no prongs in the rubric for APA citation. And those of you who have had me before, and most of you have, y'all know that I'm pretty much a stickler for doing your APA correctly, but in this case, don't worry about it. So, so there's that. That's why it's not in the rubric. And yes, so we've got a hypothetical situation here, and you are to use the resources that are available to you. Not just Mizzou, by the way, but check and see what your public library has, and those may be useful resources as well. So check and see what resources are available to you, and then go ahead and just public, academic, wherever, and get as much good information as you can. And when I say good information, I do mean relevant information. Please don't bog your reports down or your write-ups down with information that is off the subject, just trying to fill up pages or whatever. That's not going to impress me. But what I want you to do is give good information that's going to be helpful to this individual, but don't overwhelm this person with irrelevant information, as that might confuse them, okay? And then you will see a point breakdown. You'll see it kind of there, elementary, and then you'll see a more descriptive rubric here. But again, I am not going to grade these too harshly. Just, try your best. I'll be reviewing them. I'll see how well you do. And I will be, from there, I will be figuring out how to tailor and tool the assignment for future courses, okay? Also, don't forget about your Stomper assignment. So I do want to go back into that really quick. So reaction to BizLib, Listserv, Stomper, or a Stomper in your textbook. You can join the Listserv, the BizLib, Listserv, and the okay. Your instructions on how to join the BizLib listserv will be, if you Google, you can see the link, you can see the URL here too. But also, if you Google Northern Arizona University BizLib L, this will teach you what you need to know in order to join that listserv. And there are Stompers that appear on that listserv all the time. So you can either use those, or you can use the Stompers that appear in your textbook, or also the earlier version of Celia Ross's, the first edition of Celia Ross's book, that you all have the second edition as the textbook for this class. But the first edition is actually available for free in the Mizzou libraries, or I shouldn't say free, but they're included in your tuition. So you can actually look for that first, first edition as well, and the Stompers will be there in that one as well. They're different Stompers from the second one, but you'll see them. And I just want to, yeah, just have your reaction to, and you'll see kind of a crude rubric here. I don't have a descriptive rubric because this one's only 5 points and doesn't need to be that long. But I do want to just see how you all react to some of these stumpers, because I'm interested in your emotional reactions as well to things. And you can have an emotional reaction to just, you can be frustrated, scared, whatever. Some of those stumpers are very similar to things that you're going to get asked in professional practice, and they are very, very, very scary and very intricate to answer. So I want you all to be aware of what may be coming, and then also let's see here. Actually, I'm gonna pause for. So what I want you all to see also is that there's a reason for this. You'll actually put your reaction to the BizLib Stomper in a discussion area, and you all can respond to each other if you like, but you're not required to respond to each other for points. But really the reason why that's there is because I want you all to kind of get a sense that your classmates are frustrated too. Your classmates, when they see these stomper questions, they're going to be like, whoa, that's quite intense. What is going on? And so I want you all to know that you're not alone. I felt nervous when I got stompers. I felt overwhelmed when I got stompers. Most business librarians do. And you all should not feel any shame if you all do as well. So that is what that is. Okay, so we're at 17 minutes now. I'm going to try to keep this video under 45 minutes, but this one's going to be a little longer than the ones previously. So I won't be able to keep this one under 30 minutes. But let's talk about 4 resources that can be very useful. Okay, so yeah, I just went around searching not two of the legal databases. I searched both Mizzou and then also 3 public libraries that I'm a member of, Johnson County Public Library in Kansas, as well as Kansas City Public and Mid-Continent Public Library here in the metro Kansas City, Missouri area. And none of those libraries, none of those 4 that I have access to have LexisNexis or Nexis Uni in the case of universities these days, or Westlaw, including Westlaw Academic. So, and maybe the law school again does have, because the law library, their resources are separated out. So maybe the law library does have something, but that doesn't help us because I can't access that, and neither can you. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about LexisNexis or Nexis Uni again for the academic library version, or Westlaw and Westlaw Academic. What I am going to do, however, is mention them and then tell you that one thing you might want to do, the great thing about YouTube is that you can find tutorials and things on YouTube. So what I would recommend is perhaps doing a Westlaw legal company legal tutorial. Use keywords. You're librarians, you can figure out keywords, or you're going to be librarians soon, so you can figure out keywords. And you might just want to put in Westlaw company tutorial. Maybe that'll get me something that, because they have like company dossiers, both Westlaw and LexisNexis. So these can be used to find out things about the legal history of companies, as well as a lot of other good information about companies. But specifically, when you're looking for companies that have been involved in lawsuits, how those lawsuits were resolved, etc., etc., Westlaw and LexisNexis are both very useful for that purpose. Now, I'm going to say that I find Westlaw Academic. I've got experience with Westlaw Academic and with Nexis Uni from previous institutions that I worked at, and I would say that Westlaw, in my opinion, is much, much easier to use. So, but yeah, you can search for tutorials and you'll probably find them on YouTube or other video services. Let's see. Oh, well, that popped up, so that's pretty cool. So LexisNexis versus Westlaw. Let's see if there are any cool. Okay, Lexis Advanced. I think that is the non-academic library version. So, okay, yeah. So, Nexis Uni versus Westlaw comparison. If you type that in, so you know the keywords now, to use LexisNexis versus Westlaw, and you can probably just at your leisure just check these out if you're interested, just to see the differences between them and which is easier to use. But I would say that I think the Westlaw is much easier to use. The interface is just much more user friendly. It's more intuitive and that sort of thing. So no need to belabor those points. I'm going to leave it up to you. If you want to actually look up those resources, go ahead and do so. If not, don't worry about it. And then the other things that I am going to look at are, let's go back over here. So some things that are actually, and this is another resource that we actually don't have. Now, the University of Missouri, my understanding is that the University of Missouri and UMKC do have access to Bloomberg Law, but it's not something, again, that we would have access to because we're not members of the law school. So, like, if you try to actually register an account, then it's going to ask you what law school you attend. And so you, as you can see, University of Missouri, Columbia is here, as is Kansas City. But those are not going to be options that we would have access to right now because we are not law school people. But again, you can do Bloomberg Law Tutorial, and this will help you see exactly what the database contains, as well as how to use it, when you would use it, etc., etc. So those are three things that I unfortunately can only tell you about, but you can learn a lot more about them via YouTube, and then you can also just frankly probably Google information. You may be able to request a demo, or your library that you work for may be able to request a demo of any of those resources. You might as well if you want to see them demo, you might as well try, even though you might not be a law student. Sometimes these people who actually do the demos for these companies, they will demonstrate these things, and I don't know exactly how the pay model works. But I will say that more often than not, even if you tell them I can't buy this resource, they will still demo it for you. So maybe they get some sort of credit for showing demos. Because I've been very frank with people in the past and saying, yeah, you can demo a database for me, but I'm not going to buy it. And they'll still do it, and you think that they are always trying to get the money, but they'll still do the demonstration. So I don't know exactly how they get paid, but they seem to be very willing to do these things. And I'm going to pause, but the last thing that I'm going to mention, so because we couldn't look at any of those things, it is going to be under 30 minutes now, but we are going to look at good jobs first. So let me pause one moment. Well, and I think that just goes to show how busy I've been. Or, how, I guess maybe not how busy I am, but how maybe it just goes to show how flighty I am. I don't know. But what I'm seeing here is that we've already also looked at good jobs first, but I am going to go back into it really quick since we're talking about legal things. In a pinch, yes. I think we did Walmart last time. But another thing that so I think that we actually looked for the company Walmart and searched by various variables there, but you can always use this violation tracker to kind of track down, what is, what has been done, but I'm going to go about it a different way. And these are for major companies. So, again, Walmart, of course, has had a lot of violations related to wages. And so I had done the company search, I believe, when I showed you all good jobs first the first time. I did the option 2 searching by company, but you've got other things that you can search by with your federal agencies. For instance, you can actually come here, and I just select the alcohol and tobacco tax and trade. Actually, let's drug enforcement. That's pretty interesting. Let's see who's got. Ooh, naughty CVS. So CVS apparently has CVS has apparently had 5 violations related to I guess, and of course, CVS has pharmacies, so it would make sense that drug violations would kick in there. And another thing that I think is pretty cool when you're using this resource here is that you don't just have the you don't, and they're adding stuff, so that's pretty cool. Something's coming in October, but you don't just have the federal agencies. You will have your offense type that you can search by, and you will also have like state agencies, and that's pretty cool. So you can have your federal agencies, but let's say you want to look at what's going on with Missouri. So, and I know a lot of you actually don't live in Missouri, but you're going to the University of Missouri, so they're going to be our example. So, Missouri Department of Insurance, let's see who's had some violations there. CVS has had violations there. So, you've got violations, total penalties, total records, I'm sorry. I'm not really trying to pick on CVS, but yeah. So you get kind of a summary or an overview there. Now, what you'll probably end up having to do sometimes is actually trying to Google. That's where LexisNexis and Westlaw come into play, because one thing that you might end up trying to do is, if you want more information on these violations, you might want to look for news items that give you that kind of information. Okay. So I know we did the violation tracker last time just by company, but this time around I did, to show you just something new, I did want to show you view summaries by other ways to search. So this is something that you might want to play around with as well. And I think that Good Jobs First is going to be improved more and more as, this is one of those free over the web resources. So a lot of times it takes a while to get them to be improved into, something that's viable and that you would all want to use. But in this case, I think they're off to a good start, and they'll probably keep continuing to improve upon it. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. Let me go ahead and upload this video and keep it under 30 minutes. This is Dr. Jace. Peace and grace, and I will see you next week. And until then, just continue trying to become a library geek.